Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Mental Game podcast. And today's episode is going to be less formal. I think I've been going down this formal route of talking about formal topics and with a formal attire and all that. I just want to be myself. The truth being, I've been sort of trying to chase views in a way and trying to make people view the podcast more by, changing the way I do things, which is fine, but I think the whole purpose of this podcast is to be authentic, is to show the real version of who I am and how I talk, how I dress, how I am, just in general. And I just want to do that, And today's podcast is going to be exactly that. It's going to be authentic, it's going to be real, and it's going to be to the core of what I experience day to day. And let's get kick-started. First of all, I hope you guys' weeks are good and your day is good. And I hope that work is successful, either at university or at your office or wherever or whatever you do. I hope that it's filled with prosperity, success, and also is also not too stressful, and that you're taking care of yourself. I hope that as well, that you're taking care of your mental well-being, your mental health, and also practicing mental fitness, as it's as important as physical fitness, as we've discussed a gazillion times on this podcast. And yeah, it's super important. So let's get kick-started. Today's podcast is actually going to be an interesting one. I'm sorry my nose is a bit stuffy because the weather here is absolutely atrocious. So let's get kick-started. So, today's podcast is about relationships. And the reason I'm laughing because, quite frankly, I don't really have much experience in the relationship sphere with girlfriends and all that. I don't really have much experience in that sphere. However, I have been on my fair share of dates and have been it's funny to talk about, in my fair share of situationships. I've been in my fair share of them, and I've learned quite a few things in these scenarios and in these things I've experienced. And much of them are transferable to both male and female. However, some may be more relatable to males, as I'm coming from more of a male perspective, if you understand what I'm saying. However, they are transferable between both genders, male and female. So yeah, anyone can watch this episode and take something out of it. So let's get kick-started, man. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, right? And, I didn't have any Valentine per se. Just myself in the house eating a good Turkish meal. And that's my damn Valentine's Day. But it got me thinking a bit in regards to, why I don't have a relationship, or what is the point of a relationship, and so on. And it got me in this sort of retrospective scenario where I started to think of what I did in the past and my experiences in the past and what I could sort of learn from them, especially when approaching relationships with women. And yeah, I started to go into that reflective sort of mindset and sort of reflect on what happened in the past, essentially. So there's a few things I've learned from those past experiences that are very useful for now and the future. I just want to share them with you because I think it's super important to realize a few things before initiating a relationship or before transitioning into that mindset regarding, I want that person in a relationship, or I want to be with that person for a lifelong time, and so on. So it's that you need to sort of evaluate whether you're making the right decision or whether you're approaching the person you like in a good manner. This topic's a bit it's hard to talk about, but it's important to talk about it. Yeah, let me just So the first thing I've learned in this relationship game is that, and I'm coming from a male perspective. So with many of the people I liked, and this being women because I'm heterosexual, I had to mention that, but with many of the women I liked in the past, I used to put them as the top of the number one thing I had to focus on in my life. And that meant, if I had to go to the gym one day and a girl asked me out on that specific day, I would go out with that girl. Essentially, I used to put my health as a lower priority and the female I liked as a higher priority. And that was the biggest problem. The female was the biggest priority in my life. And it was over everything else. That being work, that being fitness, that being my other hobbies and interests like gym, boxing, and everything that's important. That even be over my other friends, my male friends. For example, if the female I liked asked me out and another one of my best male friends asked me out, I would say I'll go out with the female. You know what I mean? I would put the female at the top, and I used to prioritize everything regarding her and how to shape my life around her specifically. Now, I'm telling you from experience, this isn't something I'm very proud of because I've put in so much effort into that relationship and into her specifically. And then after a few months, she moves on like that. She moves on, and you realize all that effort, all that time, and all that sort of love you've given someone is dissipated and it's no longer existent. So in the process of sort of evaluating that, I realized that it's super important to not let a female become your first priority, or not let the person you like become your first priority. Because what I realize is that after you put them as a top priority, your life changes, your goals changes, and you have no direction in your life. The only direction is this person you like. Everything you want to achieve is according to that person. Oh, I want to buy a house because of her. Oh, I want to get this job because of her. Oh, I want to stay in this country because of her. Your dreams halt. Everything halts. Your processes halt. Your dreams halt. Your other priorities like family, gym, fitness halt. Everything halts because of this one female you put at the top as your priority. And I keep saying female, I mean anyone you like, could be male, female, whatever. So it's super important that whenever you're interested in a female, anyone, that you don't put them at the top of your priority list. You don't. You don't let it change your life. You don't let it change who you are. If you prioritize fitness, that being gym or boxing or whatever sport, don't let that person you like change that aspect of you. If you prioritize hard work, coming back home, putting in more effort, whether that's for, your computer science coursework or whatever university coursework, or if you like doing extra work after your 9 to 5, don't let that change you. Just because that this person, you like this person, it doesn't mean you have to be at the top of your priority list and change everything about you. That includes your values, what you like, and what you do. So it's super important that you do not put them at the top of the list, and you put them somewhere in between. Maybe, there's no definite number, but you put them in a specific rank where you can sort of progress in life in both a career sense and a personal development sense, and also ensure that your values and beliefs are intact. So you put them at that rank where your values are intact, your personal hobbies and who you are doesn't change, and also you have some progress in your life regarding self-development and career. And many of the times even, and it's a fact that, the person you like may even find that more attractive because you have direction in your life. You have something going for you. You believe in who you are. Like you have a strong self-belief. Nothing can change that. A female, an object, nothing. You have a strong self-belief and you're strong within. And I think people are more attracted to that. So yeah, it's not about how to get a girl to like you more. Rather, it's more how can you manage a suitable distance between the person you like and yourself to ensure that you're still on a suitable direction in terms of progress, and also that you're not changing for the worse, or you're not changing yourself just according to that female or that person you like. I keep saying female, but that's my sort of experience. So yeah, I mean that's the first step, is that put them at a suitable rank. Simple as that. Second of all, it's also super important that, and it's coming from me, these tips are super subjective. They're super subjective because it may work for you, it may not work. It may work for me, it may not work for you. It may work for somebody else. It may work for, a person all in the other side of the country. But it's very subjective. It works for some people, it doesn't work for other people. And you just gotta trial and error. And through empiricism, that's the only way you learn. You will learn how to approach certain things and how to optimize your life accordingly. So the second tip is don't change. And this sort of links to my first point. Don't change who you are, man. Do not change who you are. Do not change your authentic self just according to the person you like. I liked this girl once. I was as of recently, actually. It was as of recently. I liked this girl and I was talking to her, we were talking and all that. And then what I realized is that I was talking to her very differently as opposed to how I would talk to my male friends or how I talk to other people. And I was talking differently because I was trying to get her to like me and all that. And that's fine because that's how the human brain works. You want to get the person to like you, hence you assimilate into a certain persona or you change into a certain persona in order for that person to like you better, right? But I realized that it just caused me more pain because every time I was talking to this female, I had to change who I was, become more, in this case, I was becoming more professional or less of a, more, lovey-dovey, you know what I mean? I was changing the way I was talking and all that, and I just felt uncomfortable. And I was like, why am I changing myself and changing the way I talk just because I like this girl, And that's when that's when it struck me that it's so important to be authentic. It's super important to be authentic in anywhere in life, in business, in your friends, your relationships. It's super important to be authentic. Because first of all, when you're authentic, the real you is shown, right? And then accordingly, the people who appreciate the real you will magnate towards you. You will pull the necessary people towards you because you give out a certain energy. And this energy, we can't see the energy, but this energy will connect with other people's energies and people who have similar beliefs or values or similar levels of or a similar personality or similar interests, and this will accordingly sort of connect with yours and you will attract the necessary people. Now if you keep changing yourself in every situation, I'm going to become this person when I'm talking to that person, or I'm going to become this lovey-dovey guy when I'm talking to this girl because I like her, and then when I talk to my friends I'm a totally different person. You're not attracting the people who are best for you because you're changing your energy. You're changing your energy to match someone else's energy. And that's not authentic. That's not authentic because authentic is when you are yourself and you're giving out your authentic energy. Authentic is not when you're changing yourself to match somebody else's authentic energy. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know it's quite, I'm getting scientific here, but it's super important that you're just yourself. You're just yourself. You are yourself. The way you talk, the way you act, your demeanor, your persona is you. Embrace that. You don't need to change it for some girl, but just because you want her to like you, if you know what I mean. Be yourself, man. Be yourself and never change who you are. Unless you're a bad person and you're doing bad things, then change that. But if you're not doing bad things and you're just the way you are, if you're funny, you're charismatic, maybe you're a bit shy, be that person, embrace it, and you will attract the necessary people in your life, if you know what I mean. So never change who you are. Be authentic, man. Be very authentic. The third one is... Yeah, those are the main two ones. I don't really have many more tips, to be honest. Those are the main two ones. The third one is clear and simple. Make your intentions straight. Make your intentions straight. When you start off this relationship and you want her to be your girlfriend, make that straight. Make that intention straight. Don't be hiding around the bush, because I did that with this, as of recently with the latest girl I liked. I wanted to get into a relationship. And guess what? I waited 6 months to get into this relationship. The reason I'm dying of laughter is because I had no direction. And this is important because when you have no intentions and you don't set them straight at the start of a particular thing, you're moving in a certain direction and the other person is moving in another direction. So imagine like one road going like that and another road going like that. You're both moving in different directions. Hence, you have different expectations and she has different expectations. Or the person you like has different expectations. So always ensure that you guys are going in the same road. You're going in the same path. You both want the thing. What you want is both common. If you want a relationship, that's both common between you guys, right? You need to set the direction straight at the start of the whatever relationship you're at, basically. Set the direction straight. If you want a relationship, say it. You know what I mean? Don't wait. Don't hide behind the bush, because at the end, if you wait too long, like 6 months for me, you'll be going on different directions with different expectations. And guess what? You'll end up disappointed when you tell her, I like you, and she friend zones you. If you know what I mean. So it's super important that you set the direction at the start of whatever, at the start of a relationship, at the start of, and this can go with anything in life. You know, with a business meeting, set the direction straight. Be clear at what you want to achieve at the end of this meeting. Be clear at what you want to achieve at the end of this annual year or quarterly returns. Be clear. If you're not clear, no one will understand you and you're all moving in different directions. And that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem. Okay? Last tip, man. Last tip. Last tip. Have choices. Have choices. You know, the thing with choices, and I don't mean choices of different people alike. I mean, that could also be a choice. But more so, I'm saying choices in terms of life. You know, don't depend on this girl for life. Your full plethora of emotions, to feel happy, to feel sad, to feel content, to feel, you know, passionate. Do not depend on this girl. Have choices in your life. Have the choice to rely on your hobbies for that passion. Have the choice to rely on yourself for that passion by practicing self-development, mental fitness and all that. Have choice to go to the gym and really develop yourself as an individual. Give yourself those choices. And if you drop all those choices and focus on this one female, when she goes, you essentially go because you have no other choices. Your emotions now cannot be regulated because you're totally dependent on her, and so on. And this is what happened in the latest relationship. Everything happened in this recent relationship is the fact that I depended on her for everything, all my happiness, my sadness, my stress state and all that. And I realized that I had to get choices. This is when I started the Mental Game podcast, and this is when I started doing self-development. This is when I started going to the gym and working on myself. This is when I started going boxing in Leicester. This is when I started being by myself, doing whatever the hell I want to do. And then also not focusing on other individuals through self-development and practicing mental fitness and good ways of thinking. So I started making choices for myself. And guess what? Whenever I'm put in another position like this, I can just move on to another choice because I know maybe this relationship isn't going anywhere or this girl doesn't like me. So what? Move on with your bloody life. Go on to something else where you can gain more fulfillment and gain more purpose. Have some choice. You know, and I don't like, okay, how to attract a person to like you more, but that's even more attractive because you're not giving your full energy and time into somebody. And sometimes that's very tiring when someone gets too much love, too much lovey-dovey. I'm hugging you. I want to kiss you all the time. I want to send you flowers all the time. No, focus on your life, and that's super attractive. When someone has direction, when someone has choices, when someone has something going for themselves, they are working on themselves, whether a small business, whether that's bloody working on themselves at the gym, whether that's even small, like working on self-development, that's bloody attractive. And I'm attracted to people like that because they have something going for themselves. They have a mindset they want to develop and become a better individual, a better man, a better female, whatever it is. So those are my, those are my tips. I can keep going on and on and on. And, more particularly for the guys, man. I feel you, 100%. I feel you. This stuff it hurts when, when some girl just leaves you and you spend so much time with her. And all of a sudden she says, oh, no, I see you as a friend, for example. Or, she just doesn't like you after so much time and commitment you put into it. But these things will happen almost on the daily. They happen so much and with so many times. But it's so essential that you just put your head down and move on. Because this is not the end of your life. This is not the end of your life. This is just the start of your life, matter of fact. And guess what? It's a blessing that happened. Because now you could learn. And now you could actually become a better individual and person. And yeah, it's super important that you look at that in that perspective. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a long podcast. Not as professional. I'm being real with you here. I'm being real. And I'm talking about this in a real note because it quite honestly pissed me off to the brim, when this shit happens, because it happened to me a couple of times and I was questioning, oh, why was it happening? Why was it happening? Not changing anything. And, as of recently, I started to actually put my head down and say, actually, I know what the hell is wrong. And all the points I mentioned today are the things I had to work on. And the things I'm currently am working on. It's a damn process in life. It's a damn process. No one is perfect. God damn it, no one is perfect. The most important thing is that you're aware and you're working on it. And that makes you a very strong individual. Because other people are so reluctant to work on their flaws. They want to live life in an ignorant way. They don't want to know more about themselves. They don't want to examine themselves. And that's why Aristotle said the examined life rather, is worth living. And essentially that means if you examine your life, you evaluate it, you evaluate what you can do better. How can you become a better man or female or a woman? This makes you really, really strong because you're not ignorant. You believe in a better you. Simple as that. This is the whole thing, man. This is the whole thing. No one is perfect. I don't want to put this thing out there that I'm perfect. That I am moving on from this, this relationship after 6 months. I've been, like, no, man. Damn, this shit broke my heart, bro. Let me tell you, it broke my heart bad. But guess what? I'm moving on. I'm becoming a better individual. And that's something I had to share with you. And these, the emotions, you may remember certain memories from this relationship that has passed by or this person you liked. Let them come. Let these emotions appear. But let yourself move on. Do the things to move on. Simple as that. And I can keep rambling about this, but yeah, I appreciate it. Right, guys, I'm going to make another authentic episode, maybe next week, because I'm going to London. I may do a vlog there. I hope to do so. I'm probably going to do so. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this long episode. I'm not sure if anyone's watching it to 25 minutes about my solo date during Valentine's. But yeah, please like and subscribe and share this podcast, share it, please. Share it with people around the world, people who may benefit from things like these and from authentic voices. And yeah, enjoy it. See you guys and have a brilliant week and day. Remember, you are the priority, no one else. Focus on your values, your commitments, and becoming a better you. See you guys.